How's it going, guys? I got a pick here in this Week 5 matchup, Raiders versus Colts. In this matchup, we got the Raiders had underdog right here at money line plus 245, while the Colts are at home laying the 7 points at money line 330, minus 330. This over and under is set at 48 currently. I am recording this Friday, and these odds are as of Friday. Like I said, Colts are laying the 7 points, so could be changed. Could see 6.5, could even see 7.5, but it's going to be definitely around that 7 range. If you look at this matchup, like I said, it's taking place in Indianapolis, where the Colts have played pretty good. Have played good in general, but haven't lost yet at home, which is obviously a good sign for a team with new quarterback, which is obviously a huge difference in a team. But for you to be at home and definitely not lose games, but to also just be 3-1 is just definitely impressive. So if you look at their teams they've played, it definitely hasn't been as impressive, but it's still some decent wins. Week 1, they got the Dolphins. They smashed them. I think, like I said, with the new quarterback and in a new different system, I think that's still pretty impressive to see, even though they were playing the Dolphins. And then week 2, we got to see them at Denver win a very competitive game, 29-28 against the Broncos. They went to Tennessee, smacked up on the Titans, and then just this last game was the one they lost at Rams. Were winning all the way to the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. Ended up losing to the Rams 27-20, like I said, in LA. So definitely have played two difficult teams in Broncos and in Rams. But overall, not the toughest schedule. And then if you see the Raiders on the other end, the Raiders have had a difficult schedule besides just last week, the Bears. Other than that, they have been playing pretty tough competitive teams, going in with the Patriots, in which they got a week 1 win, the Chargers, which they lost, the Commanders, they lost as well. And then just like I said, just these Bears this last week. So similar but a little bit different in competition that they faced. But if you look at just these teams individually, when you look at the Raiders, you see a quarterback that is new in a system just like the opposing team, but opposite performances. You see one team in the Raiders where Geno Smith has been very underwhelming, has thrown 7 interceptions through 4 games. 2 of those games, he threw 3 of them, going from the Chargers. Gave up 3 interceptions, and then following week had a pretty decent clean slate, and then follows up with just a disaster at home again, throwing 3 interceptions. So pretty much back-to-back games at home throwing in 3 interceptions, which is just not not doable at all when you're the Raiders. That's just very disappointing. But if you look at the Colts, you actually see the very opposite from, like I said, a new quarterback in a new system with a new team. You see the exact opposite, where he's performing better than he ever has and is performing at a very, very high level, actually, currently. Currently, right now, Daniel Jones has a pass touchdown in every game and is actually ranked 3rd in passing yards, which is really impressive, only behind Dak Prescott and I don't really remember the other one. So, but it's definitely a top quarterback, which is just impressive. Top 3, like I said, in the league in passing yards. A guy that's in a new system, new team, has been able to perform like that. That's just very impressive. But just in general, they're explosive and they're very consistent. The offense overall, even Jonathan Taylor, he's looking like a top 5 back in my opinion in this league. He's just looking very phenomenal. He leads the NFL in rushes with 414 yards in 4 games, so pretty much averaging 100 yards a game. Just very explosive, just very hard to tackle, a back that can find holes, but is very just as good as getting to the outside and beating you in that foot race. So he's a really good back that I love to watch, and I kind of think he's underrated in the league, that you have a lot of big names at running back, but I think Jonathan Taylor, in my opinion, might just be the best back in the league right now. So we see Daniel Jones being the top 3 pass, and then Jonathan Taylor with possibly the number 1 back, like I said, number 1 in rushing yards. That's just a tough offense to beat. Do the Raiders have the defense to do it? I believe their rush defense is very good. They have held most teams. Their run defense is pretty much the best part, allowing just 102 games a game pretty much in rush yards. So just over that 100 mark. They're 13th right now. But just in general, the backs that they face, I feel like have just been really tough. And like I've said, they've been able to hold them under that around that 100-yard mark. So even if the Raiders do stop the pass rush, then it goes to the question of now can they stop Pittman, Pierce, Warren, in which all these players have over 100 plus yards. The Colts actually have 2 players currently with over 230 receiving yards and 4 other players with over 110 yards. So that's 6 receivers with over 100. Like I said, 2 of them being over 200. So that's just a crazy stat to have for a team that's already having a lot of success in the rushing aspect of the game. So pretty much offense are bouncing on all sides of the game, rushing, throwing. So they're just doing really well. The Colts and at home, I feel like it's going to be a very difficult task to ask from the Raiders. Being a Raiders fan, it's a bit of a tough game to call because I really don't want to say the Colts are going to smack up on us. But just the way everything looks and it's leaning towards, it seems like that's going to be the case. My heart wants to take the Raiders money line and take this plus money. I wasn't the biggest fan of Colts in the beginning of the year, and they've really changed my mind and they've really flipped it for me. So this is most likely a game I will be staying away from. But if I had to bet it, I would bet Colts and I would lay the points. Colts money line to me is just not really worth it. $330 money line is not worth it for me. So would lay the points. It's currently at 7. Like I said, I seen it at 6.5 just the other day. So could go back to that 6.5 number. And I would lay it even more with that 6.5. That 7, I wouldn't mind a push. So that's why I'm not too much afraid of that 7. But if I had to bet it, like I said, that most likely would be my bet. But also, I do like the over and under that they set right now, which is at 48. I do like an under. I see it similar to how when the Raiders played the Chargers, how that game was able to go under and not be much of a high scoring game. I could see the Raiders doing really well, stopping Jonathan Taylor, stopping him in a few drives for the pass, and overall ending in a decently low scoring game, maybe something 24-17 I could even see. Even if it's 20-27, that's still the under. So like I said, I do like an under on that game, as well as Daniel Jones, his passing yards over under. His passing yards over under is set at 227.5, in which in all four games he has covered, as well as the Raiders just don't have that strong of a secondary and corners, in which I can see them giving up big pass yards, big passing plays, which will get him to that over 227. Like I said, on all 4 of those games, he's covered every single time. I don't see why it would be any different against this Raiders secondary, which is not the strongest. Their strong suit is the run defense. So, like I said, Colts with the points under 47 or under 48. So, sorry. But what I really do like, what I think does have very good odds that if I were to bet it, I would really look into is that Daniel Jones over 227 passing yards. Like I said, he's covered in all 4 games. So if you do like my thoughts and opinions on this Raiders versus Colts Week 5 matchup, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Definitely want to hear your guys' opinions on this game, but also the rest of the games coming out this Sunday. So definitely will post more videos today, also Saturday going into Sunday. So I'll catch you guys on the Sunday slate, and let's kill the books.